Jumping backwards. I'm going to get started. Thanks for your time today. This is Travis from James Publishing, and we are going to cover a few of the most common topics that we get as far as what are the three most common tactics that are worth your time and money from an attorney's perspective. Cara will be tweeting live today from our webinar, so you can follow her at James Publishing, and feel free to do so. We hope you do. We're going to jump right in. The first and foremost, we often review several attorney websites, and the first impression we get on the majority of the websites is that they haven't done anything with it for years, if not longer. And it's very important for people to understand, attorneys especially, that your website is the foundation of your online presence. It's like your house or your office. It's your brand. It's how you're going to be perceived. And it doesn't matter how good of an attorney you are. No one knows that, and that's what they're trying to find out. And if they come to your website and it is just terrible, for lack of better words, people, that's the perspective, or at least the perception that most visitors are going to get initially, and they're going to move on. So, we tell attorneys all the time, it doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be over the top. You don't have to spend $10,000 developing it, but it does need to be current. It does need to at least be somewhat attractive, somewhat with the times, and have relevant content. A decent website is the foundation of everything you're going to do and everything we're going to talk about today. So it's absolutely key. And expanding upon that, everything that you do, typically from an online marketing perspective, is directing traffic back to your website. So it is the core of your marketing strategy. I think some people, they have this perception that, oh, I have a website, it's fine, it has my phone number, it has a form on it, it has my email address on it, that's all I need. Well, it certainly isn't. I think that, people have this perception that, since they've gone to law school, or they went to UCLA, or they went to Indiana, or they went to Pepperdine, that they're just good and everyone should know that. Well, in today's marketplace, an online marketplace, it's very easy for a young attorney who has a flashy website with some great content to stand out amongst the crowd because he simply spent some time developing his online brand and his online presence. And he may have only been practicing for 3 or 4 years, but it's more likely that he's going to get the call versus someone who has been practicing for 15, 20 years and probably has 2,000% more experience than he does. It's just the nature of the beast and the nature of the online marketing world at this point in time. So, an appealing website will attract and influence customers. People are easily influenced. America is ADD, and the social influence, the online influence, and the short attention span of prospective clients these days is easily swayed, unfortunately. I hate to say that. It sounds absolutely terrible, but it is the truth that people spend approximately 3 to 5 seconds looking at your site, and if they do not get the perception that you are high class or of value or know what you're talking about, they're going to move on, and you're going to miss that opportunity. So we tell everyone from the get-go, the website is the foundation of everything you're going to do. So take a look at your site. If you don't like it, then I guarantee you your clients are not going to like it. So take some time. Invest a little money in your site. Get it up to speed. It is the foundation of everything you're going to do. Online marketing is not going away. It is going to be here for a very long time, and it's only going to get more difficult. So invest a little time, a little money, a little energy in your website, because it's the foundation of everything you're going to do and everything we're going to talk about today. The second important thing on the list that we talk about, and our philosophy on this has changed. Just 2 years ago, we were all about content links. That's changed. I've really backed off the philosophy that content and links is everything that you are going to have to do. And, the evolution of SEO and online marketing is developing every day. And, where it's going, well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be, working today. But, we certainly have some metrics that we can look at and some indicators that we can point to and say that this is where we think you should head. A basic SEO strategy is just a necessity. You need to be updating your site with content, with backlinks, to the point that you used to. Now, in the day, it was as much content as you can post and as many backlinks as you can build, and you're going to be at the top. Those days are long gone, and we're going to talk about that and why that is. But you still need to have the fundamental foundation of a good SEO strategy, and that is keywords, content, and backlinks. And having content that is keyworded, that's relevant, that's meaningful, is developing as well. Because just a year ago, you could post content that was keyword stuffed and had very little meaning and was just slammed with key phrases, and you would rank well. Well, today, you're going to get blacklisted and hammered for that by Google. So, you have to be very selective with your keyword density. 4 to 5% is max. 2% is recommended. You have to be very on point with your keywords. You have to use pluralizations, variations of the keyword. You can't just keep slamming the same key phrase in and using those in 7, 8 times in the same paragraph. And backlinks, but the evolution of backlinks is constantly changing, and we do not believe in just hammering your site with backlinks anymore. It has to be very strategic. You have to have a very diverse backlink portfolio, and it needs to look natural. Google is very big on that these days. So it is not complicated, but it certainly is changing, and a basic SEO strategy is an absolute necessity. And we talk about that with customers, but the following things we're going to talk about are even more important and becoming more important every day. SEO strategy. And what I was alluding to just a second ago was social media. The algorithms have truly changed, and social media is emerging. It's moving to the forefront, and many attorneys cannot figure out how to use it as a marketing tool or how it fits into the marketing portfolio for attorneys. But I can tell you that Google is using it as a ranking tool in order to give preference, and your social media presence is something that they're using to determine where they're going to place you organically. And furthermore, we'll talk about social media, but it's important that you do start to blend social media into your SEO strategy. It is an absolute necessity. It is the one thing that is missing from the majority of attorneys' SEO portfolios, and most SEO firms are not doing it. And it is unknown how much weight they give to social media, but it's anywhere between 25 to 30% of your listings are weighted by your social media presence. So, and that's only going to grow. In addition to optimizing your site, we often recommend look at what your competitors are doing. They're doing it for a reason. Look at what the larger firms are doing. They're doing that for a reason. None of this is rocket science. You can look at it and, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. We certainly do not. There's very basic fundamental things that you can do and do well. But again, like we often say, it's easy to talk about, but most firms never actually do them, nor do attorneys. They often talk about them, they allude to them, they think they're going to do it, but they actually never get around to it, and then they wonder why they don't rank. The next piece is that we're going to talk about extensively is social media. And like I said, it's a must in today's environment. Brand recognition, is probably the first and foremost powerful thing about social media. You want to use social media to build your brand, to really put your personality out into the world and to prospective clients, saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, this is my reputation, these are my strengths, this is my past, this is what I've done. It's a great opportunity to build community for people to share your information, to pass that information along to other people. It's more of an online referral tool. I mean, I'm sure all of you have Facebook pages, and I'm sure all of you share cute anecdotes that your friends have shared or cute photos. Well, it's no different if you're posting the right content for your viewers, for your people who are following you, they're likely to do the same. And as time goes on, that really snowballs and creates an effect that can have a tremendous return. And, the third point on this list is the repeat exposure. It's the oldest trick in the book. It's the old marketing adage says, it takes 6 to 8 impressions before a customer becomes a client. And the clear benefit of social media is that you get that repeat exposure on a regular basis. It may not, be the tool where someone's directly saying, hey, Mr. Attorney, call me, or Mrs. Attorney, call me, this is my number. But it certainly does give them a link back to your site. It keeps you top of mind. It keeps your brand top of mind. It keeps your messages in front of them so that when they do hit that point where they need an attorney for a specific matter, they're likely to have you top of mind. And that's what's important. The other factors of social media, I think, that are often overlooked is authority. A lot of attorneys are not doing social media, and there's a reason why Facebook went public. There's a reason why they're worth several $billion, because they have a billion-plus people looking at their site on a regular basis. Now, it would make sense for attorneys to put themselves in front of those people. And furthermore, prospective clients are going to Facebook to look for information on attorneys. They're going to Yelp. They're going to CitySearch. They're going to these social sites to find more information, figure out what people are about, what they like, what their dislikes are, what do they prefer, what is their message, and they're making judgments as far as whether they purchase or whether they retain based off of the information that they find on those sites. You're going to look like an authoritative person in your practice area if you have a strong online presence. And if people are finding your information on Facebook, on Google+, on these sites, they're going to think that you know what you're doing, that you're ahead of the curve, that you are a step above the other attorneys, someplace that they're not, and there's a reason for that. It's because you're good at what you do. You can't just sit back and wait for the phone to ring anymore. The old days of paying $300,000 and putting your ad in the yellow pages all over your county or all over your state and waiting for the phone to ring. It just doesn't work that way anymore. People are looking for reviews. People are looking for more information online. People are going on their phone. They're searching mobily, and the best way for them to do that is Facebook, Google+, Google Local, all of these social media outlets that most attorneys have no presence on, zero. And it's heartbreaking to talk to attorneys on a daily basis. And I can refer back to a couple years ago when I was doing a webinar on Google Local, and we had a fairly good turnout. And I was strongly encouraging attorneys, back in the time when there was only a couple listings on the front page of most local search phrases, saying, get in now, get your foot in the door now. Be ahead of the curve, because it's only going to get harder. There's only a limited amount of people trying to get in this door right now to be on the first page. But as time goes on, it's going to be a huge crowd of people trying to fit into a very small space. Most attorneys never took the opportunity to get involved, and they wonder why they're not on the first page. And then they expect firms like ours or others to pull off some sort of miracle and get them on the first page on a very limited budget. It just does not work that way. It's not realistic to think that, if you do not get in now, if you do not establish your presence now, that it's going to be easier to do it later. It's just not the case. And we're trying to convey that to attorneys with social media, that develop your presence now. Develop your online exposure, build out your profiles, engage with a firm, or hire someone locally to help you out with this, because it is very, very meaningful for you to do this, and it's going to be a huge factor in the way Google ranks you on an ongoing basis. And their social, gauges are, just increasing in the level of their exposure. Even more is a competitive advantage. We have a strong presence on LinkedIn. I personally do, and we use that for our company profile. And I believe we pay $99 a month for our profile. I develop anywhere from 8 to 10 leads a month off of LinkedIn just by sending out simple emails, and that's a social media outlet, just asking people if they'd like to do business with us. That's a very cost-effective cost per lead. Every now and then we get what we call our big wins, and where this exposure where someone picks up on it, someone has a large case, or a larger client has picked up on one of my messages or some of our content on LinkedIn or Facebook, and they like what they saw, and they call us, and it turns out to be a very good client for us. This can happen for attorneys as well. There's small payoffs and there's large ones. Those bigger ones, they're few and far between, but I would certainly want my name in front of as many people as I could possibly get it in front of on a regular basis using social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+, having a good SEO strategy and having a competitive website than I would just sitting back hoping my phone's going to ring. It's just, there's nothing worse than an attorney who has no marketing strategy. And they wonder why they're not getting business. I often draw the analogy or a correlation back to a financial strategy. You have to have a diverse portfolio. You have to spread your money around in order to get the best return. It's the same with marketing. You can't just sink all of your money into one pit and hope that it pays off for you. You really have to spread it around. You really have to have patience and work with the right companies and understand that return is not immediate. It certainly will pay off in the long run. And Google is really spreading their gauges on how they're ranking people organically around, and they're looking for new indicators on a daily basis. It's the only way for them to stay competitive, and it's the only way for firms to stay competitive as well as to try to keep up with them. We say this in every webinar, but start today. Don't wait. It's just going to get more difficult. We're happy to help you. We answer questions all the time. I field probably 8 to 10 dozen emails, after each webinar. I'm happy to do that. We're happy to help you out. We hope that these webinars are educational. We provide a lot of great information on our blog at James Attorney Marketing, and it's all educational. We do not believe in the hard sale approach, but if you do need help, give us a call. I'm happy to help, whether it just be with simple questions you have or with complicated matters as well. We hope that you enjoyed the webinar, and we appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you next Thursday. Thank you.